Hello, I'm going to discuss basic crankshaft reconditioning. And this will be particularly relevant to those of you who don't have very good replacement options for your crankshafts. If you don't have any new ones that you can buy, or if you don't have a new connecting rod that you can get pressed into this thing, this is an option you might consider. This particular crankshaft here is a Garelli NOI crankshaft, and I'll kind of go over the basic reconditioning process. And what you do is you look at you look at the shaft itself and make sure that the bearing surfaces and the bushing surfaces are nice and smooth and there's no gouging or any other damage. Make sure that the shaft itself is not bent, and I actually have seen that sort of thing happen before. The gearing is in good condition here. The threading on this particular shaft is in excellent condition. And then on the other side, the magneto side, this surface has a little bit of wear, but it shouldn't be anything that's too out of whack. And there's a little bit of oxidation here, which should clean up with a wire brush or some steel wool, some fine steel wool. I don't think that'll be a problem there at all. And again, here this threading is in very good condition. Now, when you're doing a reconditioning, of particular interest is going to be this hole here where the crank journal fits inside of the crank web. And what you're looking for is any kind of excessive cracking or gouging, pitting, and you can check this with a bore gauge and make sure that it is not excessively out of round, which really shouldn't occur unless you have some kind of catastrophic seizure where the crank journal itself is spinning inside the hole there. Then you move on to the connecting rod here, and you can see there that that is a Garelli connecting rod, of which I'm not aware of any replacements that exist currently, but I am looking for them. You look inside here with the big end, and you look inside here with the big end, and again you're looking for excessive cracking or any kind of cracking at all in this hardened surface, since this is the bearing surface itself. You don't want to see any cracking, pitting, gouging, rust, anything like that. There's a little bit of discoloration in there that you can maybe see with this camera here, and that's just from the the roller bearings on the big end bearing here making contact with what is considered the outer race of the bearing. I have checked this with a bore gauge, and this one in particular, there was absolutely no deflection of the needle at all, and that's good. You don't want to see that. Similarly, same story basically on the small end as well. You do all the same inspections there, and again the bore gauge showed no deflections at all. So this is a very good candidate for reconditioning. Even though I won't replace or reuse this pin, it's interesting to take a look at any damage that's done here as well. And again, you're looking for the same stuff: cracking, pitting, gouging, rust. I don't see anything like that on this crank pin. Again, you can see the discoloration there in the center, and that's also from the roller bearings making contact with the surface. I think that's just friction heat. So this guy will be discarded. This is the old big end bearing. That'll be discarded. I have new big end bearings to replace that with. I have new crank pins to replace that with, and you can see that this guy is a brand new pin. There's no discoloration or any signs of use there, and so we'll take those away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press all this stuff back together, make sure that there is proper spacing between the webs here, and come back and just kind of give a brief follow-up. Okay, so here's the end result with the new parts pressed in. Again, these are the old parts. I'm going to go ahead and take those away, and proper spacing between the crank webs themselves have been taken into account, and you can see here that the connecting rod spins very freely. I put this on the truing stand after I was finished, and the transmission side here was just dead nuts on. There was hardly any deflection at all in the needle. On the magneto side, there was about 3 inches or so of deflection. A couple quick whacks with the hammer, and that trued that side up to within 1/1000th of an inch, which is good enough for moped work. At any rate, this is basic reconditioning of a crankshaft, and I hope you'll consider it. Thanks for watching.